All right, we are good to go. All right, guys, welcome back to Infinity Solutions with Mike Nashif and the Infinity Project. And today, it's been requested that I do a short video on how to make a health plan. Okay. Later on in the week, probably Thursday or Friday, I can get online and I'll give a class on how to make health wands or healing wands of some sort, using sticks or using copper wire, you know, whatever it is that you guys are comfortable with. But today, I'm going to teach you how to make the quad core. Okay? You're going to need 20 gauge wire, 18 gauge wire, okay? Whatever you're comfortable working with that's easily bent, okay? You're going to need a pair of pliers, okay, and a drill. Okay, if you make these exactly the way that you see them on the screen, they will work exactly the way that I explained them to you, okay? This means that you got to keep the spool on your left side, okay? You got to keep the drill on your right side, okay? Keep it like this all the time, okay? I'm doing this and explaining these things this way so that I can show you exactly how the path of energy is going to flow. Okay, and what we create, all right, is we're creating the very center, because all of the energy starts in the center. Okay. And you can make a quad core, you make the Infinity 5, Infinity 6, 7, 8, 12, whatever it is that you want to put together, okay? But I'm going to show you the very basics of it, and you can continue to add to it and do your own testing, okay? Remember, I'm sharing my knowledge so that you guys can do the experiments, all right? And do all of this testing, because I don't have the interest in doing all the testing. I'm just sharing the knowledge with you, and I can show you some applications, okay? But there are so many more applications to this that we need all of you guys to, you know, that are watching it live and that are going to watch it later, okay? I need you guys to experiment with these things, okay? Don't just do what you see here, okay? Keep adding to the knowledge. Keep understanding yourself and why we're doing the things that we're doing. You'll hear me say that the energy only follows one path, guys, and that's because it only follows one path. You have to think of this copper wire like a tube, all right, or a hose, okay? And the spool is where it's connected to the wall, okay? And you turn your spigot on, and the water flows through it, okay? If you were to put a ping pong ball at the beginning of that hose, okay, right before you turn it on, it would have to follow the entire path of this hose before it could come out the end. Well, that's the way plasma and light energy works, okay? And once you nanocoat it, that's the way it will only travel, all right? And it's referred to by other ET races as insulation, okay? You have to insulate the wire, you have to insulate the device, okay? They're just using plasma energy to insulate it. They're putting a force field around it, okay? And they're utilizing that force field. And we're just getting started into these force fields, all right? But you're going to take your wire however long you want your pen device to be, all right? I use mine about this long, all right? Which means that I'm going to bend this wire, okay? And we're going to do an Infinity 6 design, all right? So you've got two wires right here in the center. That's 1, 2, okay? Then you're going to bend it back. That's 3. All right. Each time you bend this wire, okay, remember when it's insulated or nano-coated, okay, you're switching directions. All right. You're literally switching the direction of the spin between the wires. Okay. So if you're moving to the left, all right, that's a counterclockwise turn. That's a that's a magnetical. That's a positive energy field. Okay, so if it's moving to the left, okay, then it's magnetical. If it's moving to the right, then it's gravitational. Okay, so you're doing a positive, negative, positive. All right, you can count them that way. Okay, this is the quad core when you bend this over this way, because there are 4 field interactions. Okay, in the center, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. Try to get that last one out of the middle. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's how you're counting these. Okay, so now we're going to bend it one more time, or 2 more times. Okay, this would be the infinity 5, because now there's 5 wires in the center, right? And the infinity 6. Well, in sacred geometry, 6 brings out the star tetrahedron. Okay, and when it's in 3D, right, you get the Merkaba. So now you're learning how to write in sacred geometry about writing in infinity or wires, or you're writing in 1, because this is all 1 wire. All right, and so what we're going to do here is, 1, make sure that the center is where it needs to be. Okay, and you can push this in as far as you want and have fun with those loops on the end. Okay, be creative. There's no set rules for this as long as you follow these field interactions. Okay, and so what we're going to do is hold this side, hold it in your left hand, twisting with the right. Okay, so now you've got this here, right? And then you still have this wire that's still attached to the spool. All right. If you're like me, you hate it when the wire gets rolled on your chair. So you're going to remove the wheels from your chair. All right. I always put excess wire out to relieve any kind of tension on this. Okay. Now, all I'm going to do is move to the right. Okay, so I'm going to add a gravitational coil. Okay, that's a gravitational coil. All right, there are certain uses. Gravitational means that it's going to attract. If you want to attract more energy to your wire, then you would just stop making a coil here, all right, and then add this wire to the end. This would be your out. Okay, this one is your out. But we're creating a muscle, all right, where we want it to give and take, or push and pull, all right? Well, this is pulling, now we need it to push, so that we can create the balance that we need. And yes, I know I've done this very fast. Okay, it's because of the drill and the noise. Okay, it will take some practice for you. Do not be ashamed. Connect or disconnect your wires, or not disconnect them, but cut your wires so that they're different lengths. Okay, and by doing so, you've just created the Infinity 6 health pen device. All right. You want to make sure that these are different lengths, okay? Because it creates a potential difference between this point and this point, okay? There's a potential difference between this when you put this next to the body, okay? And Mr. Kesh explains that. Okay, it creates an infinity. Now, you can take these on the ends, okay, and create whatever you need, okay? You can create a flower. You know, you've created your trifecta of energy, your trinity, okay? What do you want to do with this? How do you want to manipulate it? You can put a crystal inside of this and wrap it up. Um, you know, there's all sorts of things that you can do with these. All right, once you take care of it. All right, me, I'm just gonna twist these all into little 8s because I like my crazy 8s. And the 8s are infinity loops. So we're just creating more power for this pen. Okay, and I created a flower. Okay, then you can put things in there, like I said. You can wrap crystals up. You know, you can add things to. Okay, and then just wrap around it, encompass it, hold it. Now from here, you can take your pen, and you can stick this on a stove, right, or your burner. I would suggest using a burner and not using any flame. Okay, use an induction stove to heat this up. Okay, it'll take a little while, and it'll all turn gold at the same time. As soon as it all turns gold, it will. You take it off for about 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, and then put it right back onto the heat and let it turn gold again. Okay, and after you let it sit there for a little while longer, it'll start to turn black. Okay, and when you do this, when it all turns gold, that's how you know that every molecule and atom inside of this copper wire has all reached the same temperature. Okay, which means that all the atoms are all moving at the same speed. Okay, the same distance apart. And once they start extracting the carbon from the from the inside, you'll start to see it build up on the outside, and you know that all of that carbon is being arranged in a superconductor pattern. Okay, so once you understand that and you see it, you just stick it on the burner. Okay, you stand there. You can flip it over like an egg just to ensure that it's all being heated, evenly. Okay, and then you can put this inside of another container, a little straw or a tube or plastic tubing, whatever it is that you want to do with it. Okay, you can put your 3 different GANs on each one of these little 8s that you've made. There's a lot of options here. Okay. You will get a different reaction when you're using the cold caustic, okay, versus the hot caustic. Okay, the hot caustic makes the wires heat up again, and it basically erases your intent. Okay, and turns on the record button, and you are able to record over your intent when you made it. Okay, if you're using the heat, it's doing the exact same thing. It's erasing your intent. It's erasing your fingerprint, okay, your energetic fingerprint from your device so that you can help anybody and everybody. That's why I use heat. When you're using cold caustic, however, the intent when you made your device is already saved in the copper wire, because if you bend copper wire, it gets hot and you're arranging the atomic structure of it automatically. Okay, so it's already becoming nano-coated just simply by bending this with your intent. And you use cold caustic to it will completely encompass every inch of wire on here and create the outer casing. Okay, and it will trap all of your intent and your energy and things like that. So what you should do, okay, what I've been learning, and I did it on a couple of my reactors, was that I heated this up on the stove, got it to where it was black, and then I used cold caustic over the top of it, okay? And because I did it all at once, okay, you know, obviously I let the once I put it on the stove and it got hot and I let it cool down to room temperature again, okay, then I would put it in a plastic baggie with some cold caustic to further coat it. But I make them all the same day so that my intent when I make this pen is still there. It's still true. All right. So does that make any sense, or did I just confuse you even more? You don't need to set the direction of flow after nano coating. Okay. This is an infinity device. It only moves in one direction after you start to nano coat it. Okay. So the second that you start bending these wires and arranging those atoms, it's creating a nano coating on there already. Okay. So you've already started the direction of flow. You are manipulating the direction of flow, that single direction, that single source of energy, okay, by moving it back and forth and creating a left and a right. When you do that, you create the duality that is required for existence and creation, okay? There's only one source of energy, and it only flows one direction. We're just making it flow in the same direction, but we're making it turn around, okay? So it's still turning to the right, but instead it moving to the right here, it's moving to the left, okay? And so if you try to make this one turn to the right and then you turn it around and you go back the other way, you're still turning to the right, okay? Nothing is changing, but when you put the two together, all right, you put two wires together, they interact. All right, they create the blue energy field in between the center there, and that's what you're working with, is that blue energy field. So however long your wire is and however many field interactions you've got here, that's how long that one blue energy field is. The longer it is, the stronger it is, okay, because it's all connected, it's all one, and then it's all going to come out the end here, okay? If it makes you feel better and you want to do a measurement, okay, you would use the long one as your source, or the red, and the short one as your negative. All right, but you don't have to set the direction of flow. Okay, the direction of flow, this is kind of like a laser beam here, all right, a flashlight, if you would. And because these are not bent over and curved back on themselves, the energy is flowing out the end of this, okay, like a laser beam, all right? And when you make contact with it this way, it's still penetrating, it's still continuing through, okay? Like the energy is, you know, your hand's not even there. And what you're trying to do when you're using these pens is that you want to work in a circular manner, okay, after it's nano-coated, work in a circular manner on your hands or your feet, and you're trying to get those acupuncture points, okay, or your pain points, and you want to steal the electron from there, okay? Well, that line, that energy is not going to bend around on your hand, okay? It's not going to bend around on your hand. It's just a straight line. It's like a laser beam that's going through there. So that's why you want to do the circles, so that you can try to cut off that nerve as it's firing where it hurts, okay? And when it does, it's stealing that nerve, okay? It's stealing that electron, which is effectively severing the connection between the receptor of your brain and that nerve, all right? That's why it works, and that's why these health pens work so well, okay? Are the number of turns important? 3, 6, and 9, okay? It's not the number of turns, it's the number of field interactions, okay? Remember when we initially started making the device, I was counting out the number of field interactions, okay? This particular one has 6. So yes, the number of field interactions, not turns, all right? The turns here is your security protocol, All right, you can put as many numbers of turns you want in here, and nobody will be able to identify them but you. Okay, that means that your device can't be hacked. It's protected by an infinite number of choices, the ultimate security code. Okay, but the field interactions on the inside, we have 6. Okay, so 3, 6, and 9 are important. All right. Any more questions? Keep them coming. I love these questions. They're fantastic. But this is the Infinity 6 health pin. You can, this is so versatile, it's not even funny. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the compliments. Okay. You can connect your source, your power in to the longer one, and you can connect the out here after this has been nano coated. Okay. And now all of the energy, no matter what you're putting through here, has to travel this path. Okay. It has to come down here to each one of these. Okay. And they'll fire just like little Christmas lights, but they are firing so fast that we can't see the blink. All right. And it's got to travel all the way up and down those wires, however many times you made them. Okay. In this case, it was six times that we bent it. Right. So we have 6 field interactions. Right. And then it's got to travel all the way around these coils that you made. And then it's got to go all the way back. Right. All the way back. And then out. You're just tracing where you want the path of that electron to go, and what you want to do with it. Well, in this case, with the number of twists, this increases the number of power of carbon, okay, or 6 that we put on the inside. All right, 6 field interactions. The number of twists just determines how strong that strength is for carbon. So you're basically going to be feeding your body the carbon energy and everything that's carbon and below. Okay. This is why I would like to suggest the use of 8 whenever possible, or 9, because 9 is the divine 8th, and 8 is oxygen on the periodic table of elements. Well, oxygen, 8 field interactions, or the total of 9, still encompasses all the things that we need for human life. So when it also comes to the number of field interactions, it takes 8 field interactions to create a cube within a cube, okay, or to create a cube, and it takes 64 to create the cube within a cube. All right, and that's where the sacred geometry comes in. So you got to remember, just because, if this had 8 on it, this would still have the same energy as a cube, okay, and it would be able to encompass it. Because I used the quad core or higher, this one is 6. This is like the 6-pointed Star of David that's in 3D, okay, and each point on the star is where a field interaction, the center of the field interaction begins, and then in the center of the star is where they all interact, okay, and they start to crisscross, and that's where you get your virtual light body and things like that when you're dealing with the Merkaba. Okay, you have to be careful when you're working with the artificial Merkaba, because it's just that, it's an artificial Merkaba. All right, you can make all sorts of wishes, and they'll come true right about now with all of this stuff that's going on in our universe. So be careful what you wish for. All right, this will heal anything. This is a magic wand. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy. Is it coated with GANs after nano coating? Which used? You got to practice with it. Okay, some people are reporting that when they put the GANs on there, it's too strong, too much energy. So you just got to practice with them. If you're going to use them, I would use the CH3, the CO2 and copper oxide to increase the power. And I would put it on the ends, okay, not on the coils. Leave those as the receivers, okay, the attractors. And then you can put a mixture of the three on the tip, you know, on one of the tips here, okay? And that creates a battery here, and it creates a battery here, and this one is bigger, so this one is going to give to this one, right? And so you're creating the flow when you make them this way, okay? You're automatically creating the flow of energy. But if you're going to add GANs to it, remember you got 3 more GANs that you're going to put up here, and you only have 1 on this end, okay? Because when you mix them together, they're not 3, they're 1. How's that? Did that help? All right, guys, I got to get off of here for a little while. We got to render these. Go ahead and stop your